I'm Roger Hoover. Here are thoughts from Alabama head coach Nate Oates following Alabama's Saturday win against Georgia.
Unbelievable effort from our guys. Really the effort we've been looking for outside of the start to the second half. You take that 4 minutes out, which I wasn't very happy with that effort. But the other 36 minutes, I thought we played, really hard, out-rebounded a really good team by 16. Still scored 20, even though we had 20 turnovers. Now we got to fix the turnovers. Obviously, it's a major problem, and 12 of those 20 were from 3 of our fifth-year seniors, which shouldn't be the case. But thought those guys kind of set the tone. I thought this was the hardest Sears has played.
I'll have more in a moment.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations. You could say we know a thing or two about tradition. We've been family, community, and financially strong since we began in 1906. Being a team player is part of our culture. That's why at CB&S Bank, we're proud to sponsor the University of Alabama Athletics and prouder to take the field or court with you. Visit cbsbank.com today. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Join us tonight for Hey Coach and the Nate Oates Show, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, presented by Alpha Insurance, live at 6 p.m. Central. You can listen to Hey Coach across our full radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as watch the video stream on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by CB&S Bank. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I abuse you. You're tired. The lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you listen to another station I don't understand, if nobody does it like Thom Abraham. Give us a call, Steve. He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. They go up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Yes, I'm on here. Am I on? Somebody respond.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Overreaction Monday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. It is Super Bowl Monday, as well as all the silliness of the Pro Bowl games is over now. The dodgeball is over. The tug of war is over. The flag football game is over. And now the hype train begins in earnest towards what should be a very compelling game, a game in which the Chiefs are holding at a 1.5-point favorite. There's only been 3 Super Bowls with a tighter line in the 59-year history of this game. Seattle was a 1-point favorite over New England in 2015 and famously lost that game on the goal line. We all remember that one, of course, one of the very dramatic games in Super Bowl history. Where does it fall in Super Bowl history in terms of greatest game? I have a list. It'd be interesting to see where that is and where the game was. It was played 2 years ago between these same two teams, between Kansas City and Philadelphia. Now, also back in 1982, the 49ers were a 1-point favorite in their first Super Bowl ever, and they beat the Bengals by 5 in Detroit. And the Dolphins, despite being 16-0 at the time, were only a 1-point favorite over the Redskins in 73. They won that game by 7. They win that game 14-7. And, of course, the irony of that deal is that if they make that field goal, instead of having it be botched and Gary Premian throwing that botched interception to Mike Bass, who he runs it in for the touchdown, if they kick the field goal, the Dolphins win the game 17-0 to go 17-0, the only undefeated season in the history of the modern NFL. There were some back in the day, but in the modern NFL, that was the only one. So those are the only 3 games that had a tighter line than this one. There's never been a game that was a pick'em going in. I mean, this is close to a pick'em going in. 1.5, 1.5 is like a pick'em. It's about as close as it gets to that. By the way, that game in 73 was played on January 15th. So you get a sense of how the season has been stretched out now. That was generally when the game was played. First dozen Super Bowls or so were all played, around the middle of January, the earliest being January 9th in 77, which was Soup 11, I think, between the Raiders and the Vikings. That was January 9th. January 9th. Remember January 9th? That's when we used to play the national championship game in college football. Now next year's national championship game is going to be January 25th. By the 80s, the game was being played on the 3rd Sunday in January. Then it crept to the final Sunday in January. And after 9/11, it was delayed a week, and it became the first February game. It was played on February 3rd. Now, that was the 2002 Super Bowl. The next year, they played back in January. It was like January 25th, something like that. The Bucs and the Raiders, January 26th. But every Super Bowl since then has been in February. The latest ever was February 13th. That was a minute ago. February 13th. That was like a couple of years ago. That was Rams 3 years ago. Rams and Bengals. All right, so we'll get more into that as the week goes on. But today, we got to clean up some other topics that have popped in the last few days and over the weekend. We got a local baseball story. We got a stunning trade in the NBA. We got Ryan Grubb back in Tuscaloosa, and hopefully this time he's going to hang around a bit. And speaking of coordinators, Ohio State has now lost both of their coordinators. So there's that. Chip Kelly is leaving to become the offensive coordinator for Pete Carroll in Las Vegas with the Raiders. And Kelly must be thinking that, that gig, that could lead to a third shot as a head coach for him in the league. Remember, he had Philadelphia, then he failed miserably in San Francisco. His first year in Philadelphia, it was like shock and awe. Then the league caught up with all that crazy stuff. Then he went to San Francisco and failed miserably there. And he went back to college game. But he's got to be thinking, look, Pete Carroll's not buying green bananas anymore, right? I mean, you're talking about a head coach that's 73 years old, the oldest head coach in the history of the NFL. So if we go there and we win, maybe I'm the successor to Pete Carroll and I get my third shot in the NFL. We welcome those of you that are watching on WZZN TV, our YouTube channel. If you're watching there, I am channeling spring weather, big spring park behind me. And I'm channeling beautiful spring weather because it is gorgeous outside. I mean, I wish we were doing a remote from outside right now. It is absolutely spectacular. And I haven't been able to get outside except for a few minutes here and there. Took the garbage out. It's 65 degrees and brilliant sunshine right now, going up to 67. It's just absolutely gorgeous. 69 it's going up to. So absolutely beautiful right now out there. So I figured, you know what? Let's drop a little big spring park in the springtime. So those of you that are watching on WZZN TV or on X, you're seeing that right now. We also welcome our listeners at 97.7 ESPN, the app, and those listening over the air in Winchester, Tennessee, on ESPN Winchester. Lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The Zone is on X, 97.7 ESPN. And go ahead and throw a follow to at ESPN Winchester as well. And speaking of apps, go ahead and snag not only the Zone app, but the Talk Radio WZZN app for more great programming. And get the new ESPN Winchester app as well for all their great content. Make sure you keep an eye on all your socials and on the calendar at 977ESPN.com so you know where you're going to find the games and when. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Everything going on. We got Alabama basketball. We have got other NCAA basketball games. We've got the Havoc. We have got the UAH Chargers. We have got the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. Got all of that stuff going on. And everybody that's listening to me right now is going to hear the Super Bowl on their station, depending on how you're listening, unless you're listening on the app in Virginia or something. And don't forget about your big zone deals. You can find that link at 977ESPN.com. It's a great time to chow down or snag some great golf for half price right now. And there's more great deals being added every week. Last week, we added Hickory Store Barbecue out on Lake Bottom Road in Monrovia. This week, we add Full Moon Barbecue at the end of the week. My remote schedule for the week has me at Baumhauer's tomorrow and Hickory Store Barbecue on Thursday. So 2 opportunities to come out and visit the show at lunchtime. In February of 2021, Major League Baseball announced the modernization of the minor league baseball system all throughout minor league baseball. As part of that restructuring, they introduced new facility standards. And all 120 minor league baseball clubs are required to meet these standards by the start of the 2025 season, which is just around the corner. I mean, look, pitchers and catchers in 8 days. Not for nothing. Can I say that? I didn't make that up. February 11th, pitchers and catchers. Okay? So it's coming. It's coming. Now, Toyota Field was built just before this decree came down. So there's a need for renovations there. And they've been talking about as much as $30 million in renovations to a stadium. I don't know how much it costs to build. But a stadium was built and look at all the infrastructure, the ramps, the on-off ramps, everything else. Madison Town or Town Madison out there, it's unbelievable. It's spectacular. I don't know whatever happened to that, that Margaritaville hotel that they were going to build with the lazy river behind the, left field fence. Apparently that ain't happening. We're going to get an update on what's going on out there. Because they're talking about building possibly a 3-story building in left field, which would house a visitor's locker room. Apparently the visiting locker room is not up to snuff now after they just built the stadium. Garrett Fahrmann is the executive vice president and general manager of the Trash Banners, and he's going to join us here at the bottom of the hour with an update on that situation. And then coming up at the top of the one, our old friend Beau Estes is back from NBA TV, NBA.com. Talk about that monster trade that dropped over the weekend. Luka Doncic headed to the Lakers in return for Anthony Davis. I mean, something just so nuts about that. And then you got the commissioner, Adam Silver, floating the idea of a 40-minute game last week. They play 48 in the NBA. They play 4 12-minute quarters. He's like, maybe we ought to go to 10-minute quarters. I love that idea. It's phenomenal. All this crap about load management and everything else. I love that idea. Heck, we went from a 3-hour we went from a 4-hour show to a 3-hour show to a 2-hour show. Load management. By the way, everyone else in the world, including the college game, is 40 minutes, right? Look, record book be damned. I don't care about the record book. Basketball. 40-minute game. It's a good idea. In my opinion, it's a good idea. Back in our massive command center, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering your phones, keeping us on the air. It's the one and the only, Jumpin' Joe Hunk.
Do you know who I am?
No, who is this?
Who is this guy?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I'm very important.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
You want to boo me? Fine.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Let me show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
I will not wear that naughty one.
Hey, Thom.
Hey, Joe. So you going to join me on camera today or not? What's the plan? Are you going to just stay behind? Okay, good. All right, beautiful.
I'm here.
Good to have you there. That's good stuff. I'm very excited. What a gorgeous day. How about that image behind me over there of the big spring park in the summertime, springtime? I mean, doesn't that just warm the cockles of your heart?
Yeah, no, I hate the summer. It's funny, as a guy who's played baseball his entire life. No, I hate the summer. So, but with that being said, I have baseball tomorrow, so I'm already set. I'm good to go.
Are you making that up? What do you mean you hate baseball?
No, I don't hate baseball.
I mean, you hate summer. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you
I
mean
hate
you
summer.
hate summer?
Well, when it gets 99 degrees with 100%
Okay.
humidity, it feels 120 degrees, and when you walk outside, all of your clothes are instantly wet from all the sweat.
Yeah, but what about spring? We have a long spring, right? I mean, can we like spring?
No,
What?
spring is fine. I just don't like the humidity in this as part as that's going. Like tomorrow, for instance, tomorrow's going to be amazing, and I have UAH baseball tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and that's going to be I think a high of 65 over at Charger Park. That's going to be absolutely tremendous. It's just once we start getting into that 90 and 94, and oh look, it's 6 straight days of 100-degree weather. Hope you're enjoying the summer out there. No, I'm not. As a matter of fact.
So 6 straight days of highs in the 20s and lows in the teens.
Heaven
versus 6 straight days of high. We don't get that many 100-degree days. Let's say 95 plus and 65 at night, 70 at night. So you would rather have the 20s? And
100%.
Well, you need to move to
100%.
Michigan or something then. I mean,
no, yeah, I am all about give me all the freezing cold weather.
Really?
I'm all for it. Absolutely. Because I can layer up. I can throw more layers on. It's just I can't. There's only so many clothes that you can take off before you get arrested.
That is weird, man.
Yeah. Now again, and look, when I'm playing or when I'm working, like if I'm playing baseball or working out or coaching or any of that sort of stuff, then that's different because I've got like workout stuff on. And again, you're meant to sweat in that stuff. But like today, for instance, you can see I've got like, a long sleeve, like a hoodie and all that. I don't want to be wearing this and then walk outside and then have to be like, God, this is all soaking wet now because of I'm not all about that.
It's so nice to see you so much better and clearer in the new control room. And again, I tell the people like our engineer finally got a weekend off. So nothing has happened since last week when you last saw the control room, but he'll be back tomorrow. They're going to, when this thing gets cleaned up and finished, I mean, it's not done, but man, it looks like it's pretty operational. I love the way you stand in front of all the monitors and stuff.
And that's the part about this. We actually wanted to put something behind me to kind of cover up this tower. The problem is when we tried it, we knocked the radio station off the air.
Oh, no, that's not good.
Yeah, so we just said, you know what, we're gonna deal with this for a little bit because we tried to put something up behind it, and the very second we did, all we heard is,
that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, so there's a switch that's right on this tower behind me that would be where where we were going to try to cover. Yeah, we knocked it off the air. So we said you're just gonna look at these wires for just a little bit until we get all set up.
And it'll be interesting to see what the final iteration is, where the final camera positions are.
Oh, yeah, this isn't the final camera position.
Yeah, this is just once everything is done and what the background might look like behind you and what might be on the walls. And we've got, once everything is done in there, we're going to bring the Junkyard Babe in there. We're going to put up all our artwork. We got a bunch of artwork in a hallway, and we got things to do. It's exciting. I mean, to be honest with you, it's exciting.
Trust me. I mean, like we've already gotten a lot of compliments on the way that the stream looks, everything. And look, the camera I'm using right now is one of our old cameras in the old studio. It's not even one of the brand new 4K ones, and it looks even better with how this is going. But even in the studio with how we get everything set up, that thing is, I would say maybe 50% done. Like it's, there's still so much that we have to do with it. And yet when you're watching us on air, like you have for the past few days, it's looked way better than what it ever did whenever we were in the attic.
Oh, it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, we're just scratching the surface. We just needed to get back on the air. So we're, construction is going, we're like a duck right now. You know how a duck is in the pond? The duck on the top is calm. You don't even see anything. And underneath the water, he's paddling like hell. You know what I mean? That's how we are right now. We're like a duck.
Yeah. And we're also kind of like, Ryan Grubb is down in Tuscaloosa. Say, wait a second. Am I turning here or am I turning there? I think I know where I'm supposed to be going. I've done this before, but I'm not 100% sure. So for me, it's like, am I pushing this button over here or am I doing that one over there? Or am I on this computer or this monitor? I know I've done this before, but everything's a little swapped around just a little bit.
I actually literally get lost going. I'm like, I don't know yet. I keep getting confused on which ramp to get off of to make the loop to come back to the, to the station. You know what I mean? It's like the next thing I know, I'm like halfway to Alabama A&M, and I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't I supposed to get off here somewhere and go under one of these bridges?
Oh, I've zoned out because normally once I hit the overpasses coming in from Hazel Green, that's my hey, I've got some overpasses. I'm good. I'm just kind of zoned out. No more red lights. And then I'm like,
oh crap, the other way.
Yeah, I come the other way.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. We'll get to the calls here in just a moment because I want to do that because we have got Garrett Fahrmann coming up at the bottom of the hour. I need to say this. If I don't get this out now, I won't say it. For those of you that are watching on WZZN TV, I'm going to hold up for you the this was handed out on Saturday. Terrence Robinson. For those of you that didn't hear, Terrence Robinson passed away last week, 19 years old. Did not wake up on last Sunday morning. No drugs, no suicide. All that was ruled out. Cardiac arrest. 19-year-old kid, cardiac arrest. And T-Rob I covered him in football. Of course, we had him on in basketball as well. He was a state champion in basketball. Was co-MVP of the state championship basketball team as well. Was loved by everyone. Had a great impact on the community, and they had this memorial service for him on Saturday. He went to Buckhorn, but the memorial service was at Mae Jemison. There was 1,000 people there. There was 1,000 people at this 19-year-old kid's service. It was very moving. I thought it was done very well. It was very sad. It was just awful to think about a 19-year-old kid not waking up last Sunday morning, found by his grandmother. It was awful. He was a quarterback on a football team, was a running back on a football team. He did all the dirty work in the lane on the basketball team. Of course, Caleb Holt, stud. Caleb Holt, by the way, came in from Atlanta where he's playing on an elite team. Caleb Holt came in. He's a junior now in high school. He came in for the service. It was very moving, and it was very emotional, and they did a great job. And I just want to say that for those that were there, and for those that the family and so on, they remain in our thoughts and prayers. But they did a tremendous job on that. And John, my son John, and I, Captain Cool, we went down there for it. John had done their basketball games on the air, and of course I did the football games, and we thought that it would be right to at least pay our respects and go on down there. So that was on Saturday. So good job by those guys. I've taken a picture with probably 5 high school football players in my entire career. A high school or college, to be honest with you. They were all guys I coached. I can't think of any other players that I took a picture with as a broadcaster. His last high school football game, I jumped out of the booth and went down to the field and grabbed him because I told him I appreciated how much he meant to the team, his leadership, his skill, his ability. And I asked him, I said, let's take a picture together. And we took a picture together, which I have in my phone, and many have seen it. The guys at the station have seen it. I just don't take pictures with high school football players that were not my own. Of course, my own kids I did, but just saying. So that was sad. All right, let me get Wolverine Dan in here and get him cleaned up here, and then we'll get Garrett Farm coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Wolverine Dan, welcome in. How are you?
Well, it's pre-Monday before the Super Bowl, my man. I'll be pulling hard for Philadelphia. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Philadelphia. I'm not pulling hard for them. I'm not that invested in the game that way. I want to see a great football game, but I would like to see Philadelphia win.
Well, Philadelphia's got obstacles. Not only they got to play against players, but against officials too. So you know how that is. Trust me, you'll see. You'll see, Tom. You'll see. Anyway. Over the weekend, by the way, I'm heading over to my buddy here. He's putting new shafts in my ping irons. So not only do I got the G430, but I'm going super seniors on everything, baby. Yeah.
Are you getting limp shafts? Are you getting the whippy shafts? Because your shaft, at your age, you don't want a stiff shaft. You want a limber shaft. Is what you want.
No, I got one that kind of sneaks up on you, buddy.
Okay.
I got the little whippy. I don't know. We'll
Okay.
find out. He's going to check my shaft and see how.
He's probably
how
going to put a limber. Probably going to put a limber shaft in your. You get older, you need a little flexible.
I
more
am
flexible
not mature
shaft.
enough for this conversation.
I'm just saying, Joe. When you're young, when you're young, you have a stiff shaft, and when you get older, then you got to want to have a more limber shaft.
Hey, Joe,
in your
trust me,
driver.
That cold weather doesn't help the golf shaft out. Okay,
No, it does
I've been
not.
up there for a lot of years. You don't want to go there, Joe. It's no fun.
No.
Now, with that said, let's talk real quickly. The Pebble Beach AT&T. Wow.
Yeah.
Every year, I always sit that weekend just to sit and watch. I really enjoyed it a lot. It was fun to see Lowry and Rory playing on the same twosome. And did you see that one drive that Lowry hit, and it hit that Marshall in the back?
Yeah, I saw it on tape. I didn't see it live. I didn't get to watch nearly as much of that as I wanted to. I love Pebble Beach, but I did not get to watch it much this weekend at all. There's so much going on this weekend. I did not get in front of the TV hardly at all.
Yeah, he got hit right behind his shoulder, and like he stood for a second, then it just dropped. I actually saw that the second time I've seen like that. I played golf in my last story, and I got to go. I was on this course, and it was a short par 4, and the guy could really hit the ball. He says, "You know what? I'm going to go for it." I said, "Well, why don't you wait till the person gets off the green?" No, I might not hit it that well. I said, "You know what? You've been hitting it well. You should really slow down and not do it." Well, sure enough, he did it anyway, and he hit this Korean woman that was turned around, getting ready to putt, hit her square from the tee on her calf, right in the middle of her calf.
Yeah.
And, man, it sounded like Rocky Balboa. Remember how he was punching that piece of meat in the freezer?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll leave a mark.
It wasn't good. And he says to me, "What do you want me to do? What should I do?" I said, "Get your ass in that car, and you better start apologizing a lot."
Right. Was anybody yelling for at least?
I think he did, but he shouldn't have done it, Tom. He shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
All right,
No,
gotta
you
go.
don't
See ya.
All right, see you, Ben. I thought he was calling to tell us about how Keelan Russell, Alabama's Keelan Russell, has jumped Blair Underwood as the number 1 recruit for this recruiting cycle, the 2025 class. Everybody was talking about Blair Underwood all along. The number one recruit in the country went to Michigan. Well, not so fast, my friends. The new 24/7 Sports Composite came out, and now Keelan Russell jumped Blair Underwood as the top recruit in this class. Saw a headline, and I was like, recruiting thoughts catching up on the class of 2025 as signing day nears. Joe, I was like, what signing day? What are they talking about?
Wait, what?
Signing day? What signing day? That's right. The first Wednesday in February, day after tomorrow, is quote unquote signing day. There's nobody left. There's like 6 kids left that haven't signed in the early signing day was like December 17th or whenever it was. That was signing day. We're still calling this signing day? There's literally no one left but you and me, Joe, and John. We're the only people that haven't signed with a college.
Yeah, my star rating isn't what it used to be, so that's why I had to wait till February. And so I guess that means that we have to make that the whole day about that again. Is that what we're supposed to be doing? Oh, okay, cool.
There's like one kid. This Ty Haywood out of Denton, Texas.
All right, Ty, all eyes on you.
That's it. He's the number 39th prospect in the country nationally. He's an Alabama commit. In July, he committed to Alabama, but then he didn't sign with the Tide in December. He decommitted January 13th. He's visited Michigan, and he's going to announce sometime today. I mean, maybe he's already announced. He's announcing today, and everybody thinks he's going to Michigan. We'll have to effort that. See if this Ty Haywood, I should say. I'm sorry. Ty Haywood, see if the kid from Denton, Texas actually, signed with anybody. Apparently today he was going to commit. Then he'll sign on Wednesday. We're going to break it in. When we come back, Garrett Fahrmann will join us. He's the Executive Vice President, General Manager of the Trash Pandas. He is up next. We're going to find out what's going on with Toyota Field out in Madison. We'll do that next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage, with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
Boats floating on a sapphire breeze, so we're between heaven and the tall pine trees. Hard land, I'm missing you.
You know, it's laundry season over at Owen Home Appliance Center. I mean, it's basketball season, it's hockey season. Football season's just about over. Baseball season's right around the corner, but it's laundry season. I bet you didn't even know there was a laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. And if you're tired of that washer walking around the house every time you put the spin cycle on, or if you're having to dry your clothes 2 or 3 times, maybe now is the time for a new washer and dryer from Owen Home Appliance Center. You can pick from brands like Maytag and GE and Whirlpool and Electrolux and, of course, Speed Queen. And they've got the 2-in-1 GE Profile, washes and dries a load all in one machine. Go ahead and visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs, where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. It's Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality prices, quality service, right there in the name. Owen Home Appliance Center. All right. I guess now Garrett Fahrmann, he is the executive vice president GM out there with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And there's been a lot of news lately, and we're trying to kind of sort through it all. It's been the off season, and then all of a sudden you get hit with all of this stuff, and you hear about renovations and things that are going on out there. And so we thought, let's reach out to Garrett and talk with him about it and see what's going on. He joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Garrett, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, Tom. Good. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am fantastic. Things are supposed to be like quiet in the off season for a minor league baseball team. You got to chill out a little bit, relax, maybe throw a coat of paint on the office, something like that. But holy mackerels, you guys have been pretty busy this off season with a lot of news going on.
Yeah, we got we don't like to rest too long. Once the season gets over, we flip into a non-baseball season mode and have lots of events and always something going on here at Toyota Field. So.
By the way, before we get into this story and these proposed renovations out there at the field, we all heard about back, when the stadium was being built and everything else, that there was going to be this lazy river out there, Margaritaville Hotel and everything else. Obviously, all of that got scrapped. Is that correct? I mean, there's no plans for any more hotels out there on the other side of the center field?
Yeah, that was, I think those were in the initial renderings, back in whatever it was, 2018 and 2019. And, that was part of the overall town Madison development. So that wasn't necessarily, a ballpark thing, except for the fact that they were trying to find a way to connect that lazy river to a pool inside the ballpark. So how that would have ever come to fruition, I guess connecting those two would have been interesting to see. But yeah, that was part of the initial renderings. But whether that's going to still happen or not, I guess I'm not 100% sure. So.
All right. So let's get into this, the need for the renovations and so on at the stadium, because, we still think of the stadium like it's brand new, and it isn't brand new. I mean, it's 5-6 years old now. But you kind of think of it being brand new. Talk about the timeline between when the stadium was being constructed, being built, and when Major League Baseball put out this edict that all 120 minor league ballparks were going to have to be brought up to a certain standard that apparently didn't exist when you guys were building the stadium.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess when the ballpark was being built, 2019, the ballpark met all of minor league baseball standards. And then over the course of, the non-season of 2020, at the end of towards the end of the calendar year of 2020, Major League Baseball kind of overtook minor league baseball and put these new, they cut a bunch of teams, if you remember that.
Right.
So a lot of cities lost their minor league affiliated team or major league affiliated teams. And, it ended up being, we had to meet these new facility standards. So that was, going back now 4 years ago. And they've given us kind of a timeline of how we needed to get compliant. They gave us an audit form that we just went ahead and did a self audit for, and we knew we weren't going to be compliant down, at the end of the day. Our big, we've been compliant every single year up to this point. Just that big major hurdle is we don't have enough space underground, which was where our visiting and home clubhouses are, and umpires room can't expand underground. So we have to build a new visiting clubhouses, which is the conclusion that we're kind of came up with.
Yeah, and this happened. This thing came down from Major League Baseball before you threw the first pitch there, right? Wasn't it February 2021, and you missed the season of 2020? So you guys hadn't even played a game yet, and you were told that within in 4 years you got to bring it up to snuff. So so the issue doesn't have anything to do with the playing surface, the lighting, none of that. It has to do basically the only thing is this clubhouse space for the visiting side. Is that right, or for both sides?
Yes. Well, actually, everything you just listed there is part of the facility standards. So we're going to get audited, randomly audited whenever they kind of want to come out and check our playing surface and our lighting and all that stuff. But we've gotten all that stuff is compliant right now. We've kind of gone through that phase, but they can at any point in time, bring out a level, make sure that there's no trip hazards on the field and sprinkler heads aren't exposed, all those things. But yes, the biggest thing that we can't hide is we don't have a compliant visitors clubhouse / facility for female staff.
So I've been in the clubhouse. The home side of the clubhouse is beautiful. I was like, man, this is sweet. It's like a major league clubhouse. I mean, this is nice.
It really is.
So what would happen with is that compliant? Is the home side compliant in terms of the clubhouse there? Is it just the visitor clubhouse, or are you expanding the home side? What are you going to do with the visitor clubhouse if you build this new facility outside the left field fence?
Yeah, so the visiting clubhouse will then turn into our female facility for both umpires. The female, when we get female umpires, they could use, let's say, the current visiting manager's office and shower, and then if the Trash Pandas get a visiting or a female coach or a trainer or a player or whatever, they could use the let's say the coaches
right
locker area of the current visiting clubhouse. That's what we would use it for.
What about all the rest of the clubhouse, the visiting club? I mean, because it's not like it's the size of my studio. I mean, it's still a decent size space.
I mean, the actual clubhouse portion is 1,000 square feet. So we would, there's a couple different options. We can turn that into our mascot room, which is, when we have our mascots and a dressing room for if we have, I don't know, some, the superstars come and they could use that, for a dressing room, and we could use it for a family room, so the players, wives and girlfriends and families and stuff like that can sit down in there waiting for the, there's a lot of options we can utilize it for.
So now they talk about, you guys are talking about a couple of different options for this visitor clubhouse, which would be out where the grounds crew. So it's not like you need to do anything with the grounds crew garage, right? That doesn't need to be upgraded, or does it? Is there? I mean, the Major League Baseball doesn't care about that, do they? Is it just a matter of having a visiting locker room being out there where the grounds crew facility is now?
Yeah, there's currently nothing, in the facility standards, given by Major League Baseball that says we have to have X amount of square footage or anything like that for a field maintenance shed now.
Okay, so the two plans that you guys have floated out there is a 3-story building, which would have a rooftop deck, and it would be kind of cool, right? I mean, because on that upper deck you could have all kinds of you'd have service and restaurants, and it's seating and things like that, so that it would kind of offset. It would make sense to do something like that because that's a revenue source that could pay for down below, which would be where the visitor locker room is. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that was the whole thought of the 4-story complex was putting a visiting clubhouse out there is obviously there's no return on investment out there. So we have that elevator shaft that's out there already. We call it the elevator to nowhere. With if the intentions were to expand at some point. And here's, I don't want to say an opportunity, but we're kind of forced to do it. So let's take this. Like I said the other day, take this bag of lemons that we were given and turn it into Tito's and lemonade is what I said. But at least let's see if we can get something back from it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Garrett Fahrmann with us here. He's the GM of the Trash Pandas. They've got this project that needs to be done out there. Now, according to Major League Baseball, you guys were supposed to be in compliance by the start of the 2025 season. And last I knew, that's starting in about 2 months. So obviously that's not going to happen. Did they extend that, or what happens when you're not in compliance by the start of the season?
Well, yeah. So they gave us, they're showing us some grace. We showed them the renderings of the building that we were wanting to do, and they said yes, that we'll give you some extra time to get that done. And most recently, the field maintenance option was presented in December, with the city, as an option, and it could be an option. It's and I just want to preface this too. It's like we've been working really well with the city, the mayor, the city council. We've been working on this together for a really long time, and we all want the same thing. We all want the same thing, which is just what's best for all parties involved. And I praise them all. I mean, they put a lot of work and thought into this, and they really are wanting to do the right thing for the area. And we're just at a point now. We're just kind of running out of time. We just got to kind of make that decision. And we've offered, the ball corps, the Trash Pandas ownership group is offered to help pay for this new building if we go this route.
All right. So the other part of this, we hear these numbers. Again, we're neophytes to all of this. We just hear numbers, we see things, and people get scared because they think that the team's moving and all that stuff. And my information I've had, there's no interest in doing anything like that. I mean, you guys are gonna figure this out between you and the city. You'll get this figured out. But you got a parking lot problem too. I mean, we've been walking across the stones in that parking lot for 3 years now, and wondering when that'll get fixed. So we hear numbers that get floated. We heard about a $30 million project. Then we hear $10 to $14 million. Is the $10 to $14 million the building and the parking lot, or is the building $10 to $14 million and then another several $1 million to do the parking lot? Where's all of this fit in?
Yeah, so I think that the city is I believe they have closed on the parking lot out in left field that I guess our current season ticket holder driveway. I believe they've closed on that, so they will, kind of turn that into a parking lot out in beyond left field, which would be perfect if we have a 4-story building. If there's no building out there, I don't know that, that's not maybe the ideal spot for, the additional parking. But yeah, the dollars that have been, thrown out there, I mean, really, it's just got to go out to bid.
Right.
So we can, I don't want to say stop, speculating on how much this may or may not cost. Some of these numbers up to 30 million and stuff like that, what it all includes. And, that's, I don't know all those answers in the sense of, that was the high mark, of the whole entire ball of wax, I guess.
Right. What are the plans for the parking lot out beyond right field? Does that get paved at some point in time, or is that going to remain stone?
So that's Mr. Breland. That's Mr. Breland's property out there. All the whole entire stone lot out there is not our property.
Oh, really? Or the city's?
Yeah. So that's where Margaritaville was going to go. Is that basically part of that parking lot in center? Right field,
okay.
center field.
Oh, all right. I thought it was left field. I thought it was out over the left field side there. So that would have been over there. Now you say if the building isn't built, what are the options? I mean, what else could you do to accommodate a visitor's clubhouse if you don't build either a 3 or a 4 or even a 2-story building out there in left field?
Yeah, I think everybody knows that we have to build. We'll have to build a visiting clubhouse, whether it's in the field maintenance shed or beyond left field. I think the decision that just needs to be stamped now is, which route are we going to go? Are we going to go and build the extra revenue generating aspects, or are we going to I think one of the city council members said the other night, or go the duct tape version and just stick it out in the field maintenance shed.
No duct tape. We don't want duct tape. I mean, let's make it. Look, you're going to build a foundation. I was a contractor. My family's been in construction ever since I was born. I was a contractor for 13 years before I got out of that and got into the sports business full time. And, there's an old adage: if you're building a foundation in a first floor, it costs a lot less to go up. Keep going up, baby. I mean, you might as well keep going up and get something done that way. Is the 4-story building off the table? Are we just talking about a 2 versus a 3-story building at this point in time?
No, I think what was unofficially voted on in a work session before, it was either going to be the field maintenance shed or the whole 4-story building. That was kind of the 2 that received the votes, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, unofficial votes, but it gave us kind of a vote of confidence of what direction, city council was thinking at the time. So, and that was just a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
So if it were, I mean, then you'd have to have a field maintenance shed if they do that, right? Then you still got to build something else for field maintenance if you do that.
Yeah.
So if it were a 3-story building, let's say, so would it be the clubhouse on the 2nd story? Like the 1st story would be field maintenance, the 2nd story would be clubhouse, and 3rd story is, a revenue producer, whatever, and a rooftop. Is that how that would set up basically?
Yeah. No. Yeah. The 4-story would be that they would go behind the current visiting bullpen, where that elevator shaft is
right.
They would dig down to field level. So the field level would be the new visiting clubhouse. Then it would be like 7 suites on top of that, and then a smaller version of our current club that would be used for group space, and then the open air rooftop deck on top of that. Okay. That would make the 4 stories. Now, if they did the field maintenance, they would put the field maintenance. They'd have to build a new field maintenance out in this new parking lot area that the city is acquiring. First, and then move everything out, and then they would try to retrofit, the current field maintenance into a visiting clubhouse.
All right, so you've got a little bit of time, a little bit of grace from Major League Baseball. Well, give us a little bit of a timeline. I mean, when is a decision going to be made, and are we going to see dirt getting slung during the season?
Yeah, no, I mean, first they just got to my knowledge, they haven't decided on when the vote would happen. I'm not sure if they're having more work sessions to discuss it. I don't know. Nothing's on the docket right now to make a final decision. But yeah, either way, there's going to be some construction during season. To get this done by April of 26.
All right, so you got till April of 26 to get something going for sure. All right, so would you characterize, because I think this is, again, people read headlines and they just kind of skim. And there's this thought process out there that the ball corps and the city are going at each other's throats, and no, you pay, and all right, we'll pick up and leave, and all that. We're going to have an empty stadium out there. Would you characterize then the conversations as being cordial between the two, trying to find a solution? It's not a battle. It's not a gun battle right now between the city and the team. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely not. Nothing could be further from the truth there. We're, like I said earlier, we're really working together just to find out what is the best solution. Like I said,
right.
Everybody on both sides, we've put a lot of time and effort into it, and we're really trying to figure this out. But yeah, our I don't want to say the ball corps' offer was, the city would have to put this building out to bond, and whatever the current lodging taxes that are allocated to the ballpark already, whatever that difference is, ball corps is offered to pay that difference over the course of whatever the bond is. If it's 25 years or whatever it is, we would make sure that there's no money coming out of the general fund, because it's a partnership with the city, and everything's been great, and we're going to get past this too. It's just we just got to find out what's best for everybody, but it's been a very good back and forth with the city of just trying to figure out what's the best route.
Well, the whole town Madison is just so exciting to see what's going on out there. Now the infrastructure, you see the exits now coming off of 565 and entrances into different angles and so on. So, there's going to be a better way to get in and out of the property. And it's just, it's amazing to see what's going on out there, and the restaurants, the housing, everything is just tremendous. Yeah. And we want to keep that momentum going. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, we got a lot of good things going here, and we're just glad that we can be a part of it and help out. I know businesses in the area, in town Madison, when we have games, they do better. When we have events here, they do better. And it's just everything's it's great right now. So we just got to keep this momentum going, and hopefully we can continue to invest in this ballpark. For people to continue to want to come out and continue to, I think we do a great job with entertainment.
No doubt.
So we just got to keep entertaining and keep people coming, and the whole area wins.
And then you get days like today, and you could feel it in the air. You know what I mean? You could see things, and you could start feeling.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's play. And you're gonna have a bunch of softball. Of course, you got the big softball event coming out there, but then you also got a bunch of high school baseball that's going to be out there. You got Army and North Alabama going to play baseball out there. I mean, we got all kinds of cool stuff going on out at the ballpark. It's going to be a great season this year, and why not? Let's go win a championship or something. At least win a division. Let's do that too. Yeah. That'd be nice.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Talking with our manager today, he's excited. He's about ready to head to spring training, and and we've been very lucky with the Angels. They give us a lot of just great character kids that they're drafting and bringing to the Rocket City, and we just want to continue building on our foundation that we started with here. So.
Garrett Fahrmann has been our guest, Executive Vice President and GM of the Trash Pandas. Garrett, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the update.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Won't be long before you hear Trash Panda Baseball on Talk Radio WZZN again with Josh Carey this upcoming year. So that's good. Now. So no, everybody calm down. Nobody's going anywhere. They'll get it figured out. It's too bad that baseball didn't, while construction was going on, it would have been nice to know that this is what was going to happen. But, basically a year after the stadium, before they threw the first pitch, a year after the stadium was finished, Major League Baseball said, by the way, you got to make your visitor locker room, visitors clubhouse bigger. Oh, there you go. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back, set you up for hour number 2 next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Chase Elliott wins the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. The Daytona 500 is coming up a week from Sunday with Kyle Busch, the favorite, at 11-1. Ryan Blaney, 12-1. Brad Keselowski, 13-1. Joey Logano and Danny Hamlin, both at 14-1. College basketball today, UAB, a 1-point favorite against North Texas at Bartow Arena, 137.5 the total. Auburn and Oklahoma meet at Neville Arena tomorrow. Super Bowl 59 this week, Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Chiefs, a 1.5 favorite over the Eagles, the total 48.5. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you.
All right, coming up. Crazy trade in the NBA. I mean, I can't even think of a comp for it. I mean, it's just nuts. It'd be like Joe Burrow getting traded for Josh Allen in the middle of the season. I mean, it's crazy. All right, coming up. Beau Estes will join us. NBA TV, NBA.com. Talk about how this all happened. We'll do that next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Beau Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Beau knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
This is Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Doug Brown. Another big three-team NBA trade. ESPN's Shams Charania reports the Spurs will get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. And the Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and a first-round pick. ESPN's Brian Windhurst reports the trade talks between the Heat and the Warriors regarding Jimmy Butler are over for now. Butler says he won't sign a contract extension with Golden State. The Grizzlies beat the Bucks 132-119, their 7th straight win over Milwaukee, even without Ja Morant, who has a sore right shoulder. Jaren Jackson put up 37 for Memphis. The Rangers beat the Golden Knights 4-3. Jonathan Quick, the first U.S.-born goaltender to win 400 games.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Carrabba's Italian Grill is the best place to enjoy authentic Italian cuisine, passed down from our founders' family recipes. Featuring a wood-burning grill, you can enjoy Carrabba's signature dishes, including chicken brine, wood-fired grilled steak and chops, and classic Italian pasta dishes. Have a special event? Elevate your catering with Carrabba's Catering, the perfect way to enjoy large party portions of your favorite hand-prepared dishes for any event. Carrabba's Italian Grill at Parkway Place, Huntsville.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Download our app today. Just search 97.7 ESPN.
It's water and dust resistant.
That's 977 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And that's it.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Steve, hey, Steve,
So settle in and get your bark on. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Hellman Pearson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my home.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. You know, thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Tennessee Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. That is the Orthopedic Center. They have 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley, including one in Fayetteville, for those of you listening in Southern Tennessee. If you have an orthopedic problem and are considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sideline playing the sport that you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in the game. And I think you'll agree that the Orthopedic Center is right for you. Stay in the game with TOC. All right, joining us now, old friend that we have not talked to yet this basketball season. We haven't talked to our NHL guy, and we haven't talked to our NBA guy. all season. And that's what happens when you end up with a 2-hour show instead of a 3-hour show, and football dominates the show. But, oh, my goodness gracious almighty, there was a trade over the weekend that, I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't even believe when I saw. I thought it was some stupid thing on the social media that because it didn't make any sense whatsoever. But Beau Estes joins us, NBA TV, NBA.com. He's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Beau, welcome in. And first of all, you do live in Southern California. I just wanted to check on you, make sure, were you able to steer clear of all of the fires and all the devastation in Southern California? I don't know how close that was to where you're at.
No, we were able to steer clear. I will tell you that it is something to look out your window and see a giant fire screaming over the mountain. We saw that, but if basically for people that don't know, I'll just give you a little local insight. If you live sort of on the flat part, like in the valley, you were okay. This is all fires that happen in the hills, whether it was the Eaton fire in Altadena or over in Pacific Palisades, that fire. So those people were in trouble, but you could see it and you could sense the smoke. I mean, there was one day where we really smelled it, but thanks for asking, Tom. We were totally fine. And probably the closest fire to us was 10 miles away, but out here you can see 10 miles away pretty easy.
Yeah, my daughter and her husband moved from San Diego to St. Augustine, Florida, a year ago, and they wanted to get back to the East Coast and see how that would all work out, much closer to the family and everything else. And they're like, "Yeah, you know what? We're going back to California." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? With all of this and the economy and everything else, you're going to go back to Florida?" So they just bought a house in Carlsbad, which I'm not 100%. I know it's north of San Diego, but it's still quite a bit south of LA, right? Carlsbad, they're right on the beach there. Yeah,
you're going to want a vacation there. That's better weather than you can ever imagine. I mean, it's every day the weather forecast is just perfect.
That's the only thing positive about it. I told my wife, well, now we got a reason to go out to Carlsbad, California, and hang out with the kids and see what's going on out there. But I will say this, without divulging, the exact number, they bought a 1,900 square foot townhome, and what they paid. Oh my gosh! You go buy half of my street for what they paid. I mean, it's crazy, and I'm like, it's a 1,900 square foot townhome. I got a 3,300 square foot house with 7 fireplaces in it. I said, what would my house go for out there? I mean, it would be.
Only a Kardashian could afford your house out here. That's basically what you're talking.
Absolutely nuts. All right, so we wake up to this deal and you see it on the X, and you don't know what to believe anymore. And there's so many stupid things that come out of social media these days. But you see this thing, and I'm like, what do you mean, Doncic for Anthony Davis? This doesn't make any sense at all. He's 25 years old. Just talk about your original, your first reaction to it, because apparently without Gene Wojciechowski, we don't get tipped off on stuff like this anymore. I can't believe they kept us quiet is the biggest thing.
Well, I like you, I thought it was fake. And when it first happened and people were texting me, I was like, I'm not sure this is a real story. And the original tweet from Shams got deleted, and he put something else new up that was, "This is real. This really happened," to almost
I didn't get hacked.
what people just couldn't believe, because it makes absolutely no sense. There's no good reason that we know of, Tom. And you know how sometimes there are things behind the scenes that you don't know of, but that we know of that makes sense. This is a top 5, really, maybe even a top 3 player in the NBA in his prime who loved Dallas, that they're letting go for an injury-riddled yet great player. Anthony Davis is a great, great player, but he's not as good as Luka Doncic. So it just didn't make any sense. And there are, theories out there speculating as to why. I don't think I've seen anyone that I've really believed yet. But there are some out there that you can sort of look into, and I'm sure reporters will. But in LA, there's mixed emotions. You lose Anthony Davis, who's a guy this town loved. He helped bring that bubble championship to LA. But Luka Doncic is your future. He is the guy that's going to be on posters in 2030, 2032. And for the league, how great is it to have the signature franchise, have the signature player for the next 10 years? Yeah.
And, the Anthony Davis thing, I'm glad you called it the bubble championship. That's what it needs to be called, the bubble championship. That's a different thing. That isn't real. That's a bubble championship. I like that.
Yeah.
It's like the Dodgers winning that tournament, and in 2020 when they played 60-game tournament basically, and they won that World Series. But Anthony Davis, I saw a tweet that was pretty cute. I thought it said Anthony Davis found out about the trade and immediately pulled a hamstring. He has been, he is injury prone. Now, this was kind of, this is a guy that was a unicorn, when he got to Kentucky, because he was a 6'2" senior guard, right, in high school. Shows up at Kentucky and he's 6'9", and he still had handles. I mean, it was just kind of weird. Is it fair? And then and this is the history of the Lakers, right? I mean, you go back as far as you want. Wilt Chamberlain, has to start someplace else. Go to Lou Alcindor becomes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, goes from Milwaukee to the Lakers. LeBron goes to the Lakers. Everybody goes to the, Shaq goes to the Lakers. Nobody comes from the Lakers. They all go to the Lakers. Is where you had to go to have your star go to the next level. But Anthony Davis, is it fair to say, as great as he's been, and at times he's been phenomenal, is it fair to say that in his, 8-9 years now in the league, 7 years in the league, whatever it is, that he kind of hasn't met the expectation that he would be at this particular point? Would that be a fair statement to say?
I don't think you could say he's a disappointment.
He's not a bust. He's not a bust, but he's not. I thought he was going to be the best player in the NBA. And he's not been that.
He's never been that. He's never been close to that. I don't think he's ever been a real MVP candidate. And some of that is just, LeBron and Steph Curry were there in the way. And he never really reached those heights, which are incredible heights. But I think he's very, very, very good. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. He's got the ring for whatever that ring is worth. So he's validated on every level, with the exception of ever being in the conversation as the best player in the league. I don't think he's ever been in that conversation in a serious way. LeBron started, really pushing the idea publicly that Anthony Davis was the Lakers' best player this year. It's true. Anthony Davis was certainly better than LeBron this year. But for LeBron to publicly push that is something. So, he's great, but you're right. He's never been a threat to be the best player in the league.
Now, Luka Doncic is not the best player in the league either, but he's close. I mean, he's right there close. Now, he's only 25 years old.
Yeah.
He whines a little bit. He'll flop around a little bit. He does those things. He seems a little soft. And I wonder whether or not, I'm just grasping at straws here, but I'm wondering whether or not if somebody said that, he's 25, but the way his conditioning is and so on, he's kind of an oldish 25. And we talk about him being on posters when he's, in 2030 or 2031 and all those things. Are we 100% sure he's out right now? He's been out with a calf injury and he won't be back, I guess, for a little bit longer. Now he's been out since Christmas. But are we 100% sure that when he's 28, 29, that he's not going to be a little bit sloppy and looking at the end of his career? I mean, we just don't know.
Well, I think you're wandering into the most likely justification for why Dallas moved from him and didn't pay him a supermax is that his conditioning was off. The calf injury that he has is the second time he's had that calf injury this year. He's off and out. He is whiny. I wouldn't confuse that with soft. He wants to fight anybody and everything.
No, I mean physically soft. I don't mean he's soft as a player. He's a little bit. He's not ripped. He's not yoked. You know what I mean? He's a little bit. He's a little Pillsbury Doughboy a little bit.
Absolutely. Maybe somebody in LA can get under his skin. Maybe they can. I don't know, because remember, Luka Doncic was the MVP of the EuroLeague when he was 18 years old. He's always been right around the best, if not the best. And he came into the NBA, was a star, an absolute star immediately. And he is probably top 3, top 5 players. It's unquestionably, Nikola Jokic is the best, and then Giannis is right after him. And then you're in that Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander conversation. So he's right there among those top players. In the play, he carried that Mavericks team to the finals last year. He brought them there, and they got rid of him. It's incredible to me to see this happening, but that's what's going on. I think there's going to be a lot of reporting on this that's going to come out that is going to be at least interesting to read as to what the Mavericks' reasoning was. And I'm sure the Lakers have to be aware of this. They're not going to be caught
Yeah.
totally off guard. So I think they're going to have done their due diligence, because apparently this conversation went on for weeks. And it's finally done.
And now you said there's going to be a lot of reporting on it. It's already started with his daddy. Sasha Doncic is already he's accusing the Mavericks of hypocrisy and secrecy, and he doesn't understand it. Yeah, you don't treat this player like this, and he doesn't deserve this. And somebody needs to show him the history of the NBA and say, hey, he's going to the Lakers. Okay, I don't know what you're saying. You know what I mean? He's going to the Lakers. I mean, Dallas is a great town. He's going to the freaking Lakers. It's the Celtics and the Lakers, and then everybody else. Yeah.
House shopping on $250 million is a little different. Hey,
yes.
You can do something out here with $250 million. Pretty darn spectacular. It's a life you're not going to get in any other NBA city. So he'll be fine out here. He did lose, I think, through the new collective bargaining agreement. He lost something like $77 million. He could have been a supermax player in Dallas. LA cannot supermax him. So he's going to have lost $70-something million. And there's ways that he can make that back. And certainly being in the LA market, he'll get many, many, many more dollars here than he would have gotten in Dallas. So he'll probably make it back. But I could see where his dad's ticked off. He built a home there. He felt like he was a part of the community. And now he's coming into LA, and it's going to be weird because the greatest player this century is sitting right there waiting for him, and Luka's not going to be plan B. So it'll be interesting to see how Luka and LeBron work things out, because it's going to be Luka is choice A and LeBron's choice B, and it's not much doubt about that.
Well, those taxes in California are a little different than in Texas. I'll tell you that right now. You got a little more affordable in Texas.
I can confirm.
I can guarantee you that. Are we 1,000% sure that it is going to be the Luka and LeBron show? I mean, just saying. Do we know that LeBron is going to be there? Much longer himself.
Well, they talked about a LeBron to the Warriors trade last year. A lot of the two teams did. I don't know. LeBron has declared publicly that his intention, and he said that I intend to stay in LA. Intend is not I guarantee, but that's what he's trying to do. I don't know. I really don't know, because remember, if Rich Paul is moving guys out of California, De'Aaron Fox is a client. He's now in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Maybe LeBron's going somewhere else. You never know. And the Lakers have one job, and it's to win championships. That's really all they're about. And so with Luka in place, they're going to start building towards future championships right away. I can guarantee you that.
Well, and it's not like they're in terrible shape, right now. They're 28-19, 10 games back, a couple of games up from being in the play-in deal. But on the other hand, they're only, a few games back of being a 2 or a 3 type seed. Oklahoma City right now looks like they're kind of running away in the Western Conference and hiding. But, outside of that, the immediate returns could be pretty impressive for the Lakers as well.
Yeah, I will say this, though. The Lakers' defense was bad with Anthony Davis.
Oh, that's really bad now.
Yeah, he's an awful defensive player, Luka is. LeBron is bad at this age, and he was good when he was younger, but he's not good anymore. So they're going to have real defensive issues. They're moving and trying to get a big man that can defend. He's not going to be Anthony Davis or anything like that, but anybody who can defend, they're trying to grab now if LeBron and Luka are going to stay together at least for the rest of the season. So that's their plan. They're not, I don't think, injuries determine championships in the NBA quite often. So you would have to take a couple of big Oklahoma City injuries to get them out of the way, or else they're beating the Lakers. And then, there's 3 or 4 teams in the East that would be heavily favored over the Lakers. But the right injuries happen at the right time, and there's always a path. So I think, the Lakers just have to be there. They have to give themselves a chance. And if there's one thing the history of the NBA demonstrates, and you just outlined it pretty well, the Lakers will get a chance, and they'll give themselves every opportunity to be there and win a championship if it's possible.
We're past the halfway point now. This is when we start paying attention more in this part of the country, but we are past the halfway point now, and we got 2 800-plus teams out there. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 40-9 after winning, I think, every single game the first 2 months of the season, something like that. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are 38 and 9, and I'm certain that TV executives all over the land lay awake at night praying that we could get Cleveland and Oklahoma City in the NBA final, because that would just blow the numbers away. Right? I would think nothing screams NBA final like Cleveland and OKC, right? Even though they got great stars, it's just not what we want. I mean,
you're a TV executive at ABC, and you just convinced the head of the network to spend $1 billion a year, and you bring home Cleveland to OKC. That's not a great situation. That said, it would be an incredible final, because those are two great teams. The problem is, like when Cleveland was in the final years ago, you had LeBron, who carries the rating. The Cavaliers have 4 terrific players: Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. Those are 4 guys that are right around all-star level or significantly in the all-star game. They're great. They just don't have a star that's going to carry the rating. And neither does Oklahoma City. As good as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, he's not a guy that's going to draw huge numbers. So that would be the challenge for, ABC when the time comes. How do you get people interested in watching a final where they don't know any of the players, really? The casual audience, and people always criticize casual fans. If I'm the NBA, I love casual fans, because that's,
you need them.
All the hardcore fans are a 1%. It's everybody else being interested is what you need.
No, there's no doubt about it. Beau Estes with us here. All right, finally, before I let you go, Adam Silver throwing some things out there, seeing what sticks on the wall. Some of the stuff is a little bit goofy, whatever. Some things don't make a whole lot of sense. But I'll tell you, I got to be honest with you, a 40-minute game is not one of them. I mean, I don't know why everybody wouldn't be clamoring for this. Why the union wouldn't clamor for it and everything. Records be damned. And you know what? How often are we sitting here and worrying about, scoring records and things like that? Records be damned. Shaving 2 minutes a quarter off and lining up with every other level of basketball, from, college basketball, international basketball. Everybody plays 40-minute game. It would, this wouldn't be a terrible thing in this whole business about load management and everything else. Over a course of a season, 8 minutes a game times 80 games. That's like taking several games off of the bodies of these players, and it fits neatly into the 2-hour window. What's wrong with a 40-minute game?
We live in a world with shorter and shorter attention spans, Tom. Getting that game in and done quicker makes a good bit of sense. I would be in favor, personally, as a guy who's worked the league for 30-something years, I'd be really in favor of it. Yeah, let's do it. But I will say that I'm reminded of when I was hosting NASCAR years ago, and the drivers wanted less laps. And they wanted, I think it was 25% less laps, and NASCAR brought them in and said, we're fine doing this if you're willing to take a 25% pay cut. And that idea ended instantly. I mean, I will never forget that moment.
But would this be that? I see if they took games away. By the way, this is 11 less games on for the season that way. But it's still, if you're playing 82 and you're just taking 2 minutes off of each quarter, is it that? You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't. Are they gonna?
Think about it from if you're ESPN. That means that you have 8 minutes less of actual game time where there are commercial breaks fit in.
Right,
That's where you make back all that money that you just paid to get the rights to this broadcast. Now, I will say this. If you say, okay, we're going to have it's 10-minute quarters. We're going to have an under 7, an under 4, and an under 2 timeout, and really just jam folks with timeouts. Maybe you could do it, but then you lose the audience that way too. So that, I think you're faced with a challenge. Maybe it's shorter breaks. Maybe it's shorter commercial breaks, but there's going to be a push and pull between the people who spent billions of dollars to broadcast this and a players union that wants a lighter load on their players, and perhaps rightfully so, and an audience that may not be interested for 2 hours and 30 minutes or 2 hours and 40 minutes, but maybe could for 2 hours and 10 minutes, something like that. So I think at some point it's probably going to have to get shorter just because of people's attention span. But I don't know how you do that to ESPN after they've spent all that money to get their rights back.
Well, what NASCAR needs to do, and we always talk about this, is that maybe go to more of a heat type scenario instead of having 300 and 400 mile lap or 400 mile races where they just cut laps until we get to the last 50 laps or the last 50 miles and do something with that. All right, since you mentioned it, you do have NASCAR chops. NASCAR is back on TNT for the middle of the season. You're on the roster. I mean, has anybody reached out to Beau Estes and said, "Hey, Beau, we want you to help out with NASCAR when we get our races in the middle of the summer"?
You know, what's funny is I still have contacts with the folks at NASCAR.com, and I still talk to them. And that, we did talk within the last year a bit. I don't know that anything would happen because the odd thing with Turner Sports is obviously we've lost the NBA on TNT. But what we seem to have kept, and this is very fluid, but we seem to have kept NBA TV and NBA.com for a while, which would mean we would keep the WNBA highlight operation for a while, and that's me. So I don't know if it could work out, but look, other broadcasters do a lot of things. I could do a lot of things. If they came to me, I would definitely listen.
The whole WNBA thing is perplexing to me. I mean, the numbers, obviously, the Caitlin Clark numbers were off the chain.
Yep.
And the ladies, they opt out of their contract. They want more money. But, oh, by the way, the league still lost $40 million last year. And their selling point is that we didn't lose $50 million. I mean, that's the selling point. So we didn't lose $50 million. We only lost $40 million. And it's like, my gosh.
I will tell you this. The one thing they've got in their favor is they went from basically no TV money last year to a bunch of TV money now. They were able to renegotiate, and largely Caitlin Clark did that. And, credit Angel Reese too, and some of the other players, but those two and primarily Caitlin did that. So now they know that new number that's coming in that basically erases the $40 million loss and makes it, I think it's a $30 million gain, something in that area. So they're in a much better position. They immediately, when Caitlin came into the league, they got those charter flights. Their situation is better. You know who their WNBA's player representative is? The head of the players union is Jaren Jackson's mom, Terry Jackson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she's apparently a tough negotiator. I've got a friend that owns a card company that's negotiating to be the official WNBA card provider now. And she's a tough cookie. So I know that.
Well, when I saw the thing, they got that other league going on, Unrivaled deal going on in Miami, and I saw some of the things that the women wanted, in their new CBA, and they're talking about like certain kind of makeup brushes and certain kind of different things. I'm like, really? Is that what we're gonna negotiate over what kind of utensils that you use to put makeup on? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm not.
That's kind of thing you do that behind the scenes. You don't actually talk about that. I will say this though, Nashville's thrown their hat in the ring for a expansion team, and I will say the Nashville Summit, man, that they nailed it with the name and the logo. And with Summit and all of that, the Nashville Summit, that's kind of cool.
Great. I don't know if you met Pat Summit, but that's
I've met Pat Summit multiple times. Yeah, when I was in Nashville, they would come through with this Vault caravan every year before the season, and that was when Bruce Pearl was there, and Bruce and Pat would come and they'd sit down with me, and we do a half hour of radio, with the two of them there, and she was. There was a game that they played against Rutgers where there was like 1 second left on the clock, and Rutgers, Tennessee inbound. It was in Knoxville, and Tennessee was able to inbound the ball. The girl, I forget her name. She was a big girl. It was the center for Tennessee. She like pumps 3 times, and then she goes up and makes the layup, and they win. And when they're showing the replay, it's like the clock never started. I mean, it just that 1 second stayed there forever. So let's check this out. So I do a parody song. Right? It's Nashville. Everybody does a song, right? So I do a parody song. The clock to the tune of Rocky Top. That the clock never stops till Pat Summit says the clock never starts till Pat Summit says it starts on Rocky Top. So Pat comes and sits down next to me. Now she's sitting with me. She's got the headphones on. It was the first time that we had done a show live like that. And my producer bumps us back into the segment with me singing that song that the clock never starts till Pat says it starts on Rocky Top. And the look she gave me, I mean, here I'm 255 pounds. I felt like I was 105 pounds. I mean, she just stared at me while it was playing and looked at me like she was going to rip my throat out. So I got the Pat Summit stare. But
is this gentleman your producer anymore?
No, he is not. He is not long. He's long gone, and that was the end of that. So, and she was in it. My other Pat Summitt story was I had her scheduled the day after she won her 1,000th game. She was scheduled to come on my show on the station, the first station I was on in Nashville. And the station, that was the day I got word that they flipped the station from a sports station to a music station, so we could have 4 stations playing Taylor Swift songs instead of just 3 in Nashville. And so they had flipped it to music, and they're like, the Thom Abraham show's no more, and we're going to negotiate, me to go someplace else and all this stuff. And the first thing I said was, that's all fine. Hold that thought. I need to go call Pat Summitt and tell her that we don't have a show today after she won her 1,000th game. So, So I have a history with Pat, but the Nashville Summit, that would be cool.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great city for it too. I think that would be a great place for a team to be. And Tennessee and women's basketball, there's a history there. So I'd love to see that happen.
They would have to retrofit the arena. The arena was built at the time. There was no press box built in the Bridgestone Arena. They thought they were getting the Grizzlies. They thought the Vancouver Grizzlies possibly were going to Nashville instead of Memphis. And then what ended up happening was Nashville got the Predators and the Grizzlies went to Memphis. And to be honest with you, those cities are the right cities for the NBA and for the hockey, for the NHL. Okay. And so, but they didn't, when they built the arena, they didn't know if they were getting the NBA or if they were getting the NHL, and they didn't put a press box in there because they thought they would have floor seating, for NBA. And so now they still to this day, 25 years later, have a makeshift press box area where they broadcast hockey from up top. And it's, there's no press box at the Bridgestone Arena. So but anyway, they do play.
Let me ask you this before you let me go. Nashville Summit, are they going to be orange?
It's orange in a powdery blue, so it's kind of like the what the Lady Vols colors were, basically.
Okay.
The logo that they did was the men don't wear that powder blue in there, but the Lady Vols had that powder blue and orange color, so it's in that color. That was the logo is that color. Yeah.
Very smart. Yeah. No,
that makes a lot of sense.
I will say. I broadcast the WNBA for years and years and years. I was a sideline reporter in that league for a while. And what Caitlin brought to that league last year, there's never been as much energy around that league as there was last year. It was absolutely transformational. And, again, in large part due to her, what Angel Reese did was historic, but Caitlin Clark took it 9 levels even further.
Well, I'm fascinated to see what the ratings will be for the women's March Madness, for the women's Final Four this year without Caitlin and Angel Reese. Last year they actually got a bigger number than the men. They had 14.5 million. The men had 14 million. It'll be interesting to see if it goes back to, 3 million or 5 million or something like that, if it's a big drop.
If USC gets there, they have a superstar in Juju Watkins that people will know about. But if they don't get there, then I think you may see a bad number.
She actually does real NIL commercials, she's getting NIL money, and she actually shows up on a commercial and does that Allstate commercial and does a great job with it.
I do some teaching at USC, and she's in a class down there. I've taught that. And
cool.
She gets after it, man. That's somebody who's really sharp and really not just focused on the court, but she really is zeroed in on the business side of things and everything else like that. She is engaged.
Beau, it's good to catch up, man. I'm glad that you're okay over there in Southern California, and who knows, maybe I'll be in Carlsbad sometime in the next 6 months or so, and I'll figure out where to find you.
Please let me know, man. It would be great to see you.
All right, man. Thanks, appreciate it.
Take care, buddy.
Beau Estes. So Beau Estes was my NASCAR guy 15 years ago. He started out as my NASCAR guy, and then he became my go-to guy for the NBA. All right, before we go to break, we'll tell you that Jahani Broome was the SEC Player of the Week. Averaged 23 points, 14 boards, 2.5 blocks, 2 steals in wins over LSU and Ole Miss. And back-to-back 20-point, 10-rebound games, 9th and 10th of the season. And he had a game-high 26 points, 16 boards, and 3 blocks at LSU, as well as 20, 12, and 4 against Ole Miss, along with a couple of block shots as well. So Jahani Broome is the SEC's Player of the Week. All right, we're going to break. We will come back. We're going to go open lines the rest of the way. Going to get back to the football. I want to get into some of that stuff. So coming out of the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl, what's the latest on quarterbacks and how many quarterbacks will actually be first-round quarterbacks or should be first-round quarterbacks? We will get that in as well. And did anybody watch the flag football game? I mean, people watched it, obviously. That flag football game that the NFC won 76-63, that flag football game had more viewers than any two other things combined. The NASCAR race, the golf, any NBA game, any college basketball game. Take any two things that were on TV over the weekend, combine them, and the flag football game from Orlando had more viewers. Did any of you people watch that thing? The only bit I saw was I was at Jefferson's having dinner last night at 7:30. And that's what and it was on. And my wife was like, why don't those players have helmets on? I said, hon, they don't have anything on. They got underwear on. They're out there playing flag football. She's like, why are the NFL playing flag football? So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. We'll get a break. We'll come back. Phone lines are open. 256-576-4977. It's the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Chase Elliott wins the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. The Daytona 500 is coming up a week from Sunday with Kyle Busch, the favorite, at 11-1. Ryan Blaney, 12-1. Brad Keselowski, 13-1. Joey Logano and Danny Hamlin both at 14-1. College basketball today, UAB a 1-point favorite against North Texas at Bartow Arena, 137.5 the total. Auburn and Oklahoma meet at Neville Arena tomorrow. Super Bowl 59 this week, Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Chiefs a 1.5 favorite over the Eagles, the total 48.5. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Expect plenty of sunshine for this Monday. Temperatures continue to warm up heading into the next couple of days, and it looks like for this Monday, we'll be sitting in the low 70s by the afternoon. Heading into Monday night, we'll sit under a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling into the low 50s for the overnight. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, Savings never tasted so good. Click on that, then enter in the big zone deal store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Cecil, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, an overnight stay at Gunnersville State Park, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by the award-winning service department at Woody Anderson Ford. They're there for routine checkups. Keep your Ford or other brand in perfect working order. And if you have a bigger problem, their expert service technicians are going to quickly diagnose it with state-of-the-art tools, and they're going to get it resolved. Services include things like preventative maintenance, checks on belts and hoses and fluids, but they also do air conditioning work, brake work, tranny work. They do it all at Woody Anderson Ford. They got a mobile service that comes out to you. They have got the quick lane service department for weekends and nights as well. They got it all. Just go to WoodyAndersonFord.com to learn more. And I believe, and I might be making this up, Joe, but I believe that the drive tonight is at Woody Anderson Ford. I think the drive
They
is
are.
Yeah, from Woody Anderson Ford. So good job by those guys. All right. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. As promised, I do have the list in front of me of who performed well and who's moving up and moving down in terms of the quarterbacks in this draft that is coming up. I'll get to that, but I don't want LSU Lynch to have to hang too long and then start yelling at me because I didn't take his phone call. So I'm going to talk to him right now. LSU Lynch, welcome in. How are you?
So look here, I'm 54. I still play golf with a steel shaft. You hear me? Because look here, when you behind a foursome of some mullet old men playing with some lip shafts and you trying to go around them from the senior team, son, you got to call the marshal.
Well, he's 10 years older than you. 10 years from now, you might have a limp shaft. You might have to go to a limp shaft.
Look here, I turn 55 next month, so if I want to move up,
he's 65.
Yeah. I can technically tee off from the senior tee next month.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, no, I ran to the whites. When I turned 55, I ran to the white tees. I said, get the hell out of my way. I'm going to the white tees. Here I come. I'm going to the white tees. And I bought new woods last year, and I got the limpest shaft I could have. At 64, I need a whippy shaft is what I got, a real whippy shaft now.
Now, look here. I did watch the flag football game. I watched the entirety of it.
Really?
Really?
Okay.
And I liked it. I liked it. Because, look here, Yeah, it's NFL, but everything evolves. I mean, your show evolves, life evolves, and everything. These athletes are not getting. There's a bunch of kids there. Okay, it's a ton of kids there. I mean, you go back and watch it, Tom. That state, by the time it got to that game, it had done almost got full. You hear me?
No, they had they had 60,000 people there. No, they had 60,000 people showed up for a flag football game. It was crazy. And I'm telling you, 4 million people watched it on TV. More than twice anything else that was on TV. There'll be 4.5 million. Now, at its height, they used to get 8, 9, 10 million watching the Pro Bowl back when Ronnie Lott was lighting up receivers and they were actually playing like real football back in the 90s. But you're going to see a story that's going to say that the numbers are down. But they had 1.2 million people watch those guys play dodgeball. I mean, that's ridiculous, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and you either move on with it or you don't watch it, But I'm going to say this, and I'll hang up with you, and thanks for taking my phone. But look at the Havoc whoop some butt this weekend, son. Yeah. Now look at are y'all going to Roanoke Thursday night to do the live broadcast?
I don't know the answer to that one right now. I don't know where they're who's broadcasting that. Joe might know. Joe, has they said anything about who's actually, are they just picking up the Roanoke broadcast or what are they doing? Because that's the other game that's going to be on 48-16 or whatever it is.
48-3. And we are going to pick up the Roanoke broadcast mainly because Moulton and myself talked about going up there. We were going to ride with the team. But because of all the things that have kind of happened weather-wise, that's now going to be a 3-game road trip for them. So they're not going to be coming back to Huntsville for about 4 days.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, yeah, so it's going to be them.
All right, appreciate you. Can never catch him. You can never catch him when he's hanging up. Just it's impossible. Yeah, I had known about that just before it went public that they were going to have those games on 48-3. And there was a question then about, who was going to do the games, especially the game up there at Roanoke. So they'll pick up that. And they got a good guy. They got a good guy up there. And he knows the games on TV down here. He'll play it straight. He will definitely play it. I think he would play it straight. The Havoc right now, 1 point back of Peoria. Peoria with a game in hand. But the Havoc are firmly locked in. They'll be first or second. They got a big lead over Fayetteville, who is third, and Knoxville has kind of come back nicely. They had a lousy start to the season. Birmingham has come back into a playoff position. They had a lousy start to the season. Shocker in the league right now when you look at it, and they could still get, the bottom 3 teams, Macon, Quad City, and Pensacola are all real close to each other right now. But Pensacola's always had a really good program. I mean, they generally have a really good plan. They're in last place in the league right now with 31 points. Now, 8 of the 10 teams make the playoffs, so they're only 2 points out of the playoff. But, that's the one that's spooky. But the Havoc have only lost 7 games all season in regulation. They got 4 overtime losses, but they've only lost 7 games all season in regulation. They got 24 wins, 52 points, 1 point behind Peoria. As I said, Peoria's got a game in hand. What that means is Peoria's played 1 less game than the Havoc. So, but it's going to be a battle right down to the end. So, but they'll be right there. Going for President's Cup number 4 if they can get it done. We'll just have to wait and see. That's for sure. All right. So we had the now the Senior Bowl has been played, and the Shrine Bowl has been played. So most of all the draftable players were at those 2 games. And remember, the practices are much more important than the games. And there was a lot of talk about Jalen Milroe was just so inconsistent at practice. He hit some nice deep balls, but he was throwing the ball into the ground and airmailing guys on regular intermediate throws that NFL quarterbacks make. So it's all over the place with him. But right now, according to ESPN and their experts and their analysis, all right, right now, Cam Ward is a first rounder and the number 1 quarterback in this draft. At 6'2", 223 pounds, so he's not too small. Cam Ward is the number 1 quarterback in this draft. Now, does that mean that the Titans would take a quarterback at 1? And there has been some talk about a potential trade. And I'll ask you, Joe, because you followed the Titans closely in your time in Nashville, as did I. And this has been floated out there. would you trade the number 1 pick overall to the Jags for Trevor Lawrence?
God, no. No,
I think
now
Trevor
would I trade out of the first round or the first overall pick? Absolutely.
Would you trade it for Trevor Lawrence? Because Trevor Lawrence is better than any quarterback that's in this draft.
Oh, heavens, no. No way.
You don't think he's better than these quarterbacks that are in this
I
draft?
don't think he's going to stay healthy.
He's been predominantly healthy. I mean, how many games has Trevor Lawrence missed in 5 years in the NFL? Now, look, I don't think he has panned out to where they were talking about he was the next Peyton Manning. He's not that. He got paid 2 years ago after he had a big year. They won 11 or 12 games. Remember, they were deep into the playoffs when Doug Peterson first got there. But Trevor Lawrence has not missed that many games in terms of, Joe Burrow has missed more games than Trevor Lawrence. But
he's missed 7 games in the last 2 years.
In 2 years. But before that, he never missed a game.
Well,
7 games in 2 years, 2 or 3 games. I mean, like you say, Joe Burrow has been hurt. What's his name? About 2 years ago, Lamar Jackson missed, half the season. The only guy that doesn't get hurt is Mahomes, it seems like, for the most part. I mean, he gets banged up, but he keeps playing. But here's the thing. And it's not that it's on the table, but it's been speculated about. If they're going to if they're going to stay with the 1, you take Cam Ward number 1 overall. To me, that's risky. That's a project. Right? Trevor Lawrence is a more known entity than is Cam Ward. If they end up picking number 1, I almost think you got to take Travis Hunter.
Oh, to me, it's either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. I'm not even drafting a quarterback in the first round if I'm Titans.
Yeah, I mean, because right now the ESPN experts, they've got a first-round grade on 2 quarterbacks. Remember, last year, 6 quarterbacks went in the top 12 picks in the draft. They got Cam Ward is a first-rounder, and Shedeur Sanders at 6'2", 215 pounds is a first-rounder. The number 3 quarterback now is Jackson Dart, also 6'2". So all 3 of the first 3 quarterbacks, 6'2", 225-pound type guys. And they say that Jackson Dart is a second-rounder, maybe even a third-rounder. The 4th best quarterback is Jalen Milroe. How tall is he? He's 6'2" as well, 225 pounds. And they're talking about Jalen Milroe now as a third-rounder. Now, somebody's going to reach for Jalen Milroe. Not in the first round, though. I mean, he's probably at the 5th best quarterback right now, Kyle McCord. The problem with Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, he's only 6'1", 205 pounds. He's a mobile guy, but he's a guy that 3rd or 4th round. Will Howard, 4th or 5th round. Quinn Ewers. Remember Quinn Ewers, when he first got back to Texas, they're like, in 2 years, this guy will be the number 1 pick in the draft. They got Quinn Ewers as a 4th rounder. Dylan Gabriel, who's only 6 foot, by the way, 200 pounds, got him as a 4th or 5th rounder. This is a bad quarterback class. This is a bad year to have the number 1 pick overall in it. Who's going to jump up and give the Titans anything good at the 1? Nobody's going to give them anything.
Browns may give Myles Garrett.
I would rather have Myles Garrett than the 1.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. To me, if Myles Garrett wants out, which he does, you trade with the Browns. They can take the number 1. You get Myles Garrett and their pick, and then you draft Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter.
They're drafting 2. They're drafting 2 already.
Yeah.
You're saying take both Hunter and Carter?
No, draft one of them. You get Myles Garrett in the trade to trade back since he wants out of Cleveland, and then you also let Cleveland pick first. You pick second, and you get whichever guy you want.
Oh, you're not getting the 2 and Myles Garrett for the 1. Who the hell's going to give him? Why would they give him Myles Garrett and the 2 for the 1 to move up 1 spot?
Because Garrett wants out.
Hey, he can want out all he wants. Things change fast in the NFL too. How many games did Washington win last year? They were in the NFC Championship game. How many games did the Lions win the year before they went to the NFC Championship? 3? 4 games, and then he went to the NFC Championship game. Garrett needs to just shut up, stay put. If they trade Garrett to the Titans for the 1, he's going to lose there. First of all, he wants to go to a Super Bowl contender, so he's not going to the Titans.
No.
He's not going to the Titans. He wants to, and then what Super Bowl contender? How many real Super Bowl contenders are there? Who's the Lions? Who's got Hutchinson? And they're gonna trade for Myles Garrett. They're gonna have to give up a lot to get him. The Commanders, maybe. Who are you gonna give him? What are you gonna get out of the Commanders for a Myles Garrett? The Chiefs aren't gonna trade for him. The Philadelphia Eagles aren't gonna trade for him. He's 29 years old. He's about at his peak. Be careful with Myles Garrett. All right, we get a break. Come back. Wrap it up next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood One.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans. Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Grant. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Beau Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Beau knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an fighting organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Maybe the most impressive thing that came out of the Pro Bowl games was Peyton Manning's 13-year-old son, Marshall, dropping dimes on Jamar Chase. Can the Titans, maybe they ought to hang around. They hang around and wait another, 9 years. Try and get Marshall Manning. Deion Sanders says that he's ready to offer the kid. Kid's 13 years old. Is Deion Sanders going to be the head coach at Colorado in 4 years when Marshall Manning's ready to go to school? Manning boys. They are competitive, man. We're talking about him like we're talking about Arch Manning now. We're talking about Marshall Manning. Did you see the video of that kid throwing the ball?
No, because I have not watched a single thing having to do with the Pro Bowl.
Well, this is a video that is out there on YouTube. On X and stuff. There's video. I didn't see it, except for the video of it. Kid's throwing 40-yard dimes to Jamar Chase. He's 13 years old. Crazy. All right, that's going to do it for us. Tomorrow, Kennington Lloyd Smith will join us, and we'll get extensively into the Ryan Grubb move to Tuscaloosa. What are they going to do with Nick Sheridan? He's going to stay on the staff. Who's out? What is Grubb going to do with this team in terms of improving the offense? Get into all of that in detail with Kennington Lloyd Smith tomorrow. We'll be at Baumhauer's tomorrow as well. So come out and join us there. For Joe, I'm Tom. Paul Feinbaum is next. Have a great day, everybody.
Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Doug Brown. Another big three-team NBA trade. ESPN's Shams Charania reports the Spurs will get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. And the Bulls get